Season 1, Episode 3. Why I Don't Hate Men Even After Listening to Lots of Podcasts. You know, people have been saying, "Oh, Petula," to me my whole life. Sometimes it was affectionate, sometimes it was amused, sometimes it was exasperated. Sometimes it was a little irritated and annoyed, or a lot irritated and annoyed, like I just said something too real for the moment we were in. It definitely wasn't always praise, but it always meant they heard me. And now I've decided to give that phrase a home. This is Oh Petula, a short podcast about long layered truths. So let's get into it. I'm going to start here today. I don't hate men. If you pay any attention to what is going on in these internet streets, you'll understand why I feel the need to say that out loud. I don't hate men. But to be clear, I've had plenty of reasons to. Sometimes I feel like I need to apologize to the ancestors, not because I failed to honor them or I forgot to light a candle or speak their names, but because I still like men. Even after the lies, the audacity, the podcast. The podcast. If you were ever to try to convince me to hate men, there is a ton of persuasive material to be found in podcasts, in the manosphere, whatever they call it. But you honestly wouldn't even have to go that far. You could find plenty of solid reasons in my lived experience. I've had men who claimed to love me disappear. I've had men who admired my intelligence until it questioned them. I could also hate men because I have big boobs. I woke up one day when I was 12 and there they were. And nothing brings out the crusty, awful underbelly of the worst of men than a child with the body of a woman. The unwanted attention and violation that men inflicted on me when I was moving through my teenage years in particular was a lot. But still, no, I don't hate men. Even after that one guy told me I seemed like the kind of woman who didn't need compliments. Still like men. And after having presented so many excellent reasons to hate men, I now need to get into the reasons why I don't hate men. Because some men have been good to me, really good to me, kind to me, protective of me. Most of them weren't even family members. They've stepped in when I was in danger, not to be heroes, but to be human. I've known men who were soft with me, who held space for me, even when there was absolutely nothing in it for them. I've had men save me from other men. They literally saved me. They spoke a word to men in my world who were trying to hurt me. Sometimes they did more than that. They pulled me out of relationships that were more like burning buildings than anything. I've even seen men check other men's bad behavior. No, really, I've seen it more than once or twice, and all of that matters. I also don't hate men because I know the systems that hurt women also hurt men. The damage just looks different on them. Because men have been taught to filter everything they feel between a couple of lenses: anger and control. Joy, filter it through control. Sadness, turn it into anger. Fear, bury it. Grief, push it down until it becomes a quiet detachment. And I can't even imagine what it must be like to live that way, to have limitations on how you express yourself, because that would drive me crazy, to only have one or two ways that you can feel. A limited emotional life can do a lot of damage. And a lot of men, in many cases through no fault of their own, have a very limited emotional life. And that damage is just as important as the ways in which these systems damage women. So no, I don't hate men. Again, not because they've all earned my grace. The most important reason why I don't hate men is actually kind of selfish. Because the minute I start to lose my ability to see people as whole, to see men as whole, I am becoming like those men. I am limiting my ability to consider every aspect of people. Because that's what many of the women who hate men have experienced. They've experienced men who didn't see them as whole people or even people at all. I don't hate men because I remember what it's like when one listens who doesn't shrink from my complexity, when one says, I hear you, and really means it. And I also don't hate men because I've loved some of them, and some of them loved me back, even if they didn't always know how. And I also don't hate men because just like women and everybody else, I still believe they're capable of more. We are all capable of more than the most insecure parts of us. Now, as you know, we do layers here, so here come the layers. I know there are women out there who do hate men. They have good reason to in most cases. Some of them have reasons I wouldn't survive. I know there are women who simply have not experienced men in a way that was positive or kind or affirming. In fact, I wish more men would sit with that understanding without taking it as a personal attack. I would never diminish those women's lived experiences ever. And for those women, I hope you are getting whatever you need in life. But I still like men, and men will still be safe with me even if the things I say make them uncomfortable, because uncomfortable is not unsafe. Uncomfortable is where growth is. So even if I see you and get to know you, and even if I decide you can't have access to me, I don't hate you, because I get to not want you around and not hate you at the same time. As I wrap this up, I'm actually going to clarify my original statement. I will never hate men collectively. I will always reserve the right to dislike some men individually, especially if you have one of those podcasts. Ugh. So if this landed with you, if it challenged you or comforted you or just made you pause for a second, share it. That's it for today. I'm Petula. This has been Oh Petula, where the name is odd, the stories are real, and the truth comes in layers. And no, I don't hate men. Please come back next week.